Good evening, Greg here, burning at both ends, burning on the back end of Wednesday. It's amazing how the Monday off really shortens the whole week. It gives it a whole different feel. It's already Wednesday. It is 11:59 p.m. Pacific. It is the 5th of September 2018. And we've just been dripping wax all over Fundraise up all day today. Well, not all day today. I had my 9 to 5, but we had a training call today, which was great. It's great to hear from Suzanne and Peter. I got to meet Danielle. She's also on the team. And so the team is starting to round out. Excited for it. Did a lot of work tonight on the Fundraise Up opportunity, right? So we're in week 1 of 17, so I'm treating this just like I-Corps, right? That was an 8-week program. This is a 17-week, at least just for this year, because it's not going to stop once we get into January. It's just a 17-week push to the end of the year. It's just for no better reason than just to quantify and have something to talk about. That's about it. So just makes it fun, right? Make it a game. Because it is fun. I have to admit, this grind, choosing this commitment, I have to say, this really is like total freedom. It's amazing. And, I'm part of this men's team. We had our meeting last night. Great to see the men. And we have this concept, and I mentioned it before, but I'll mention it again because it's worth talking about. It's the concept of total freedom. And a lot of times we think total freedom is having all these choices, and just millions or hundreds or dozens of choices, however many, right? But we have this concept on the men's team that total freedom is really not having a choice. It's just total commitment in one direction, right? And that's and the freedom comes in. The freedom is in choosing what to do to move you in that direction. There's only so many things you can do to move in that direction, and everything else kind of falls off, which is great, because that's one of the challenges in life, right? Is, if I'm not committed, then it's easy for me just to keep bouncing around different things and not really go deep on something, not really build something of substance, right? Because I keep hopping from thing to thing. That's why, I know a lot of younger engineers I work with, right? They bounce from job to job every couple of years, or even maybe less than a couple of years. I can see why they do that, but at the same time, it's like, you got to stay somewhere for a decent amount of time to build something, whether it's your own knowledge, whether it's to build a physical device, whether it's to build relationships, build something worthwhile. And that just takes time, and it's hard to do that in, 16 months, 19 months, or something like that. So this concept of total freedom, it's just, fully committing to one thing, and then everything else just falls off, and you just know exactly what you got to do. And the greatest, the easiest example to think about is quitting smoking, right? If I am not going to smoke another cigarette for the rest of my life, I don't have to ponder whether I go to the store to get a pack, or I bum one cigarette from this guy just today because I had a rough day, or I'm looking on the ground and I see a half a cigarette there, and I could just pick that up and smoke it. And so the fact that I'm never going to smoke another cigarette, there's total freedom in that, because now anything to do with cigarettes is off the table. And it does make things easier. It goes back to the time when my wife and we first got married, and we were going to have our first kid, and we were in Baltimore, and we needed to move to California, and we needed to obviously get there before we had the kid. Because her family is out here, and so to move closer to her family so I could keep playing my entrepreneurial game. I remember that very clear. It was like March, I think, and we had to get out there before, like in September. So it was like 6 or how many months, I'm not sure, but 6 or so months. That's about what it was. And it just, any decision that was not moving us to California, it just fell off the plate. Any activity, anything, it just was not a priority. So anyway, that's a long explanation about this freedom thing, but I'm really feeling that with the Fundraise Up. And I'm also feeling that with the project management that I'm doing now at work. I'm managing these projects. I'm almost like not even an engineer, even though I'm technically an engineer. I'm like not a mechanical engineer on the project. I'm just a project manager, which is a clear set of things to do. And it's not getting behind a CAD workstation and cranking out drawings or cranking out models or doing analysis, even though I might end up doing that just because we have a small team. But right now, my main goal is managing this project, and so it's a lot of organization on the front end, a lot of big decisions. Right, we have a bunch of big procurements, and when you're going to spend, a few $1,000,000 on one piece of hardware, you can imagine that it's going to take some time to get that set up. And so those are the main tasks I have, not the engineering tasks, but the procurement. It's kind of interesting how much these specific projects call for that from the project manager, right? It's not design work, it's actually it's designing the procurement is what it is, really. So but anyway, but the fact that I'm the project manager, I see that as total freedom. That commitment is total freedom. It's like I only now need to do project management, and it's a lot of it's a lot of similar things that I'm doing with Fundraise Up. It's reaching out to people, it's talking to people, it's getting people together to discuss ideas. It's a lot of follow-ups, a lot of patience, a lot of persistence. It's a very similar skill set versus when you're engineering or when I'm engineering. I mean, it's a very solitary thing, I'd say, a lot of the time. You do have these design meetings, but at the same time, a lot of the work is done alone, behind the computer. So, yeah. So I'm just in the grind. I'm really enjoying. I'm enjoying the journey. I have to say, I'm real thrilled to be here. It's been quite an interesting year. I guess you guys didn't see the first 4 months because I started this posting in May. But obviously in May I had no clue I'd be doing this. No clue that I'd be committing to this. In fact, I thought if you go back to my posts, by now I should have been, all up in Instagram by now. I probably should have been, what else would I have been doing? I'm not even sure really. A lot of Instagramming probably, and I'm not doing any Instagramming. I have my Instagram, I have a bunch of followers. It's kind of funny, which makes me kind of question. I know the platform is ridiculously successful and it's great for marketing and things, but it is a bit odd that I can have 0 posts yet have like 20 followers. I find that interesting. I guess that's just kind of how it works. But I do want to, but back to the Instagram thing. I definitely feel that with the Fundraise Up opportunity, there's a huge social media piece that we have yet to really uncover, and I want to be the one to kind of trailblaze that. And so, whether it's Facebook's advertisements, and I'm trying to think of what are the platforms that would make sense for us, whether it's like a podcast thing, because I want to make it easy for folks to create posts. I definitely want it to be the kind of the raw, kind of more documenting what's going on as opposed to let's produce some nice post. Definitely thinking about using the Ents platform for that. Maybe just Ents as a way to capture some audio, right? You have 5 minutes on Ents to capture something, so you can imagine sitting around with a potential customer and just having a very short conversation about, hey, this is a nonprofit, this is what they do, this is the good that they do in the world, and then move right to this is how they're using the Fundraise Up product and how it's being successful for them. Nice short little 4 or 5 minute interview, very quick. Get that in Ents, and then you can download it from Ents and then put it in other places. Almost create a podcast with it, but just almost use Ents as the method to capture, and of course post it on Ents, right? So, and then I was wondering about what kind of would it be Instagram? I think it would be Instagram, but this is I'm still learning. I would love to get some expert advice on that. So I think more digging needs to happen. But then of course using Facebook and Instagram to market. But we would need the other platforms to create the credibility. You can't just. I don't think that we can just flat out market without having a presence on these platforms. But anyway, getting into some long sidebar here, but I do find it ridiculously helpful for me to just talk these ideas out, even if it's just me and the camera here. So, but this is the journey, aspiring entrepreneur. Week 1 of 17 for this year with Fundraise Up, and I'll speak it now. This is fascinating. So my goal for this year, 17 weeks, $30 million account. That's my goal. Because at $30 million, if $30 million from my account is running through Fundraise Up, that means a nice chunk of money for me that will really kind of create a shift in my family life and what we're able to do here, which is really what I'm looking for. Definitely, looking to, I'd say the biggest thing would be for my wife. I would love to get us in a situation where she could go and work wherever she wants to do the things that she really wants. Because right now she's in a good job. I think she enjoys it, but it's not like her passion, right? I think it's just a job. And it would be great if I think she got into a job that was more in alignment with her passion. And I think that kind of job would probably be definitely a step back from a salary point of view, and just where we are right now, being in Albany, we can't afford that. But the Fundraise Up opportunity comes in, brings in some extra income. I mean, I'm not saying that we're going to retire and we're going to build a mansion, but just provide just enough ease maybe for her to move into a job that maybe is just a more fulfilling, I would say. I think that's kind of at the top of the list. And then, of course, I would just love to give my kids some more opportunities, piano lessons, and just do other kind of performing arts and other art, because my 2 girls love art, right? They love drawing, they love singing, they love dancing. And I would love to be able to just move them in that direction in a little bit more aggressive manner. And the finances just make it tough. I mean, we're doing a lot of great things for them, believe me, but I guess more is there. There's always more. Better is the enemy of good enough. That's a classic NASA quote right there. But so $30 million account by the end of the year. Let's just push. Let's push and get there. And my goal is 10 new leads a week. I want to push that too. I want to see what 10 feels like. I'm really interested to see how I get to 10 this week. We will seeing how we're at 0 right now. But we're waiting for the new site to come online. It should come online by the end of the week. So maybe this first week, I don't want to say it's a throwaway week from a lead standpoint, because it's not, because we're learning a lot and I'm making a lot of connections. But I also want to do things with the right timing, right? I want to send people to the site when it's ready. So there is that piece. And so much for a short post tonight. So it's all good though. It's all good. So yeah, aspiring entrepreneur. This is my journey. So subscribe if you like what you hear. Check out the description. A lot of good links down there. The beat in the background, G Money is my alter ego. I write these beats. Check them out on SoundCloud. I would love to hear, to see some comments. If you got any questions, if I can help, I would love to help. I really want to be of service. This is why this Fundraise Up thing is such an awesome gig. Because, think of how cool it would be to hit that $30 million mark. To know that because of the efforts that I'm putting forth, $30 million is getting to nonprofits. That just is incredible. That's incredible. So, yep, that's the goal. So, all right, so that's it. So have a great night. Get some sleep. Get up tomorrow. Light it up. Crush it. Inspire folks. Do great things. And I will answer you in the morning.